Hey, this is Niki-Moet. You're watching MacDuff NYC. So we have a great show lined up for you today. We reviewed The Weight of Water, which is an off-Broadway play that debuted last week, May 12th through May 16th at the Producers Club. It was a great play. It was about the tragedy, the natural tragedy of Katrina, and how someone their experience through it, and the people that they've met, and people tried to come and help them, but this main lead character ended up helping the saviors, which was interesting. We interviewed the director, David Drake, and we interviewed the playwright, which was Myra Slotnick, and we got to see, hear their take on the play, how the play came about. There's a lead African American in the play. It was really good. You can go to MacDuffNYC.com and you can read the review about The Weight of Water. And, we just got a great show lined up for you today. So let me not talk too much. The first interview will be David Drake, the director, and we can get a view of his insight and how he came up with the setting and his background. He has a couple of other projects going on. So I'll be right with you. Niki-Moet. You are watching MacDuff NYC. Today I'm with David Drake. Hi! David Drake is a writer.
I do everything.
You do everything?
yeah. Including setting the stage, jamming, I do it, whatever it takes.
So today on MacDuff NYC, we're talking about Weight of the Water, which is a new play that opens next week from May 12th through May 16th. At, what is it, the Productions Club?
The Producers Club.
The Producers Club.
It's at 44th Street and 9th Avenue, the corner there, right in Midtown.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about the play?
The play, The Weight of Water, is a play about a woman who survives Katrina in New Orleans, and it takes place about a week or so after there, and a couple of rescue workers come in to try to bring her to the mainland, bring her back into safety, but they appear, and no one is what they appear in the play. And I would say really the story is, Katrina is a situation of the play. It's a poor African American woman. She's a widow, it turns out, but there's other aspects of her life. She's very haunted in her life by her past, and this storm shakes up all that she knew to be true. And so the play becomes a series of sorting out what is true, what is the past, what is her, what is available, what's now, and what's her future, based on these people who get into her house and try to help her. Okay.
And David, you as a director, what did you contribute to the play? How did you input your vision into The Weight of the Water?
The playwright and I worked together up in Provincetown, Massachusetts, Birthplace of American Drama. It's where Eugene O'Neill and a number of others, but particularly Eugene O'Neill started his earliest plays and theater up there, and then moved those in, and that really became 100 years ago the kind of the birth of American drama. In that I say that because it's a fantastic place for creating new theater.
It's historical, right?
Yeah, it's historical, and in that historical context is you get new voices and the new way we speak, and O'Neill was very into that. Susan Glassfield, you don't hear much about, was very into that, and they really began to shape the way we think of plays today. Now, back 100 years ago, when everybody was still doing plays from Europe and Shakespeare.
Right.
There was no American voices yet. So anyway, that said, we had a premiere production a year and a half ago up there at the Provincetown Theater. It was beautiful, with the very same cast that we had here in New York. And we have a couple of New Yorkers in the show, including our leading lady. Thank God we have them all. They're fantastic actors, beautiful actors. They bring so much life. They're so good. And so that's part of the pleasure, is shaping those performances, what I do as a director of this play. I like working on new plays. I've worked on a number of new plays over the years. I've been a Sundance Theater Fellow in their theater program twice. I've developed plays out there at Sundance, as well as new plays here in New York, at the Public Theater, Theater for the New City, here downtown. I did the Lily's Revenge down there, which won an Obie Award. And so I've developed a lot of new works. I like that. And helping writers really clarify their own voice and what the stories they want to tell. Because I really value live theater. I think it's a very powerful medium for whatever it is. But this play is outside the ordinary for me, which attracted me to it as
How
well.
so?
Well, because it has a very naturalistic approach, very naturalistic kind of drama.
Okay.
It's a dramedy in that there's comedy. I mean, it's drama. Don't get me wrong. There is conflict. This is a complicated lady at the center of this story. There's levels, you know, and that's true of. I was attracted to it because there aren't a lot of black characters that are that complicated. I don't get the opportunity to work with black actors. You know, we sort of separate ourselves even in the theater.
Right.
You know,
understandable.
It's just
something
the way
we have
it works
to change,
out.
But
it's something we do. So, and you know, like, and for I don't tell this story very often, but my very first show is a production of The Most Happy Fella at Morgan State University. Now, Morgan State University is in Baltimore, Maryland, and I was 10 years old. It is an all-black college, but my mother went on a minority scholarship. Yes. My mother, to get her master's degree in music, went to an all-black college, little Doris with her blonde hair and her blue eyes. And we had a musical theater class, and we did this class. So when I first made my stage debut at 10, it was Doris and I as the albinos, you know, in this cast of African Americans doing The Most Happy Fella. So I have had a kinship with African American stories for a very long time.
Okay.
And so, anyway, that said, I feel like it's part
That's
of
hilarious.
I worked with Anna Devere Smith. Do you know her? Do you watch Nurse Jackie? She's on that show.
Yes, I do. I love it.
She's fantastic. She's a fantastic solo performer.
She's the HR lady.
Genius.
She's now a nurse.
You ever see her solo stuff? Genius. She does social drama like this.
Okay.
She's, brilliant. A genius. I worked with her once up at Harvard University. And what was I told her that story. She said, "Was your mother black?" And I thought, how can you look at me and say that? But anyway.
Well, you never know.
You never know. She was being very, you know. Anyway. So I say that because I have an innate kind of interest in these stories as well, and I don't get the opportunity to do them very often. And so this is a great opportunity for me to try to engage in the concerns of her, this character, the context of where she comes from, the context of New Orleans, the context of black people in New Orleans at that time, the history of that. It's all inside the play somewhere.
Right.
So for me, and that's part of what I do too, I want to make sure that it's a loaded experience for you underneath, emotionally, just so that there's levels to what's going on, you know, emotionally. So you may walk out and go, oh, I was really moved. I don't quite know why I was moved by that, but I was moved by that. I love that. If you don't quite get it sometimes, not to confuse audiences, but that it may reach them on a level that they're not expecting.
Right.
It's part of my job too. Print pictures, organize the set, organize the light, you know, make sure the designers are all on the same page.
Now I have a question.
Yeah.
Because you know, Katrina, it's a nature disaster. Was it hard to depict certain aspects of the tragedies of Katrina and everything that's happened in a black box?
Yes. Well,
I want to know exactly how did you do that with like set design?
Okay.
How did you?
Well, we did it differently in Provincetown than we're doing it here, slightly differently.
Okay.
We had a real naturalistic sort of replica of the house, and it had real water on the stage. There's references to careful on the water. That looks like the water's going down.
Okay.
When we did it there, and so there was standing water on the set before, not a lot, but enough. A little bit actually goes a long way on stage. You know, you splash it, and it's like, wow, there's water. But we made the designer did a beautiful job of making it look like it was molding and drying out around a week later. It's like 9 days later in the play. So it's humid. I subliminally put in very subtle, low level sound design of water dripping and waving.
Nice.
You know, so it may make you need to go to the bathroom. But don't worry, the show's only 2 hours with an intermission. So there's time for that. But in this production, because of the limitations of a smaller space, a black box theater, it's and the theater's smaller, much more intimate, and we couldn't get that kind of bulk of the size on stage, so we actually, it's an interesting question, needed to go for a kind of poetic, bare bones version of the show. And I said to the designer, I said, it should look like it's dried mud. You know how mud gets that kind of chalky look after a while? It's dried. Because a lot of images I saw of Katrina, like after the disaster, and the things that were dried after a little bit in trees and things, they were covered in that kind of mud. You know, and oh, that's a this, that's a toy, that's a whatever.
Okay.
And so we've done that to imply a kind of haunted, bone-like quality to everything's washed out in that way. It's been sort of soaked and beginning to dry. So there's not a lot of color in the set, so the actors become the color. I want the actors to be the life, and the set to be this kind of ghostly former house, because it is half broken down. There's like
what, the theater?
No, the set.
The set, okay.
The way she's depicting the house is like one wall is made of the bones of an old mattress.
Okay.
You know, another's like a chain link fence, but it's all pushing in on the stage.
Okay.
So stuff like that to sort of imply the way things came in and attacked houses. You know, I mean, there'd be like cars up in trees and things. You know, we don't have that on our stage, but
you use all your elements.
Yeah, we're using like unexpected elements to represent the walls and things like that.
Okay, sounds great.
So yeah, I think it'll be beautiful. I hope you like looking at it as well. Yeah.
I'm sure we're going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Before we go, I do want to touch base on a play. It's the 20th anniversary of a play that you also directed, and you're doing it for Broadway Cares.
I wrote.
You wrote.
Right.
Okay. Sorry. So can you tell us about the play?
Sure. I wrote a play 20 years ago called The Night Larry Kramer Kissed Me, and it ran for a year here in New York, and it was very popular, and I won awards, blah, blah, blah. And it was really about my coming of age as a young gay man in New York City.
Okay.
And about my coming to political age during the AIDS crisis, and it involved a lot of a series of monologues that address a different issue that really informs the epidemic in that way. You know, what was gay youth empowerment? What is the fear of gay bashing? What is internalized homophobia? There's a late night club crawl called 12-Inch Single in the middle of it. It's like a 12-minute rap and dance.
Okay.
I got this Bill T. Jones dance we're doing. Anyway, I adapted it for 12 actors.
Because it was a solo.
It was a solo show.
Yes.
I did it for years. I did it here in LA and in London. I did it all around the world. It was made into a movie.
Very nice.
You can get it on Netflix. You can't stream it, but you can get it delivered to your house.
Okay.
And then it came, the anniversary of it came up, and some people approached me about doing it, and I didn't want to do it myself. It's a 20-something story. It's a story of a young person.
Oh, I understand.
And I'm not that guy
but
anymore.
you're still young. Okay.
You know, I mean, and it's a very physical show, extremely physical. And when I say why, there's a piece called Why I Go to the Gym. I do 80 crunches while talking.
Oh.
I don't now. These other guys do.
Okay.
But another one here, back to my African American roots, which is one of the plays that inspired this play was a play by Ndashaki Shange called For Colored Girls Who Considered Suicide When the Rainbow Is Enough.
Like the Tyler Perry movie.
He took the play and adapted it.
Right, it was a monologue-based play, correct?
Right.
Okay.
And it was 7 women, and it was it won a Tony Award on Broadway in the 70s, and it really encapsulated the black urban female experience of many generations. And I get choked up when I talk about it, but it is individual stories that collectively tell the story of a community.
Right.
It's so beautiful. I didn't see Tyler's movie.
You haven't seen
Tyler, you didn't send me the DVD. Don't worry, I've been out of town, so you're off the hook this time. I'll take a check though. Anyway, the point is, I was very inspired by that play, and it's a series of like that. So when I went looking back at this to do a benefit, I thought, this play has always spoken to community issues. A lot of different actors have done this play. Right. Nearly 100 around the world. It's been translated into 4 languages, my play. Oh, nice. In countries I've never been, Belgium.
Our MacDuffers, when you go to MacDuff NYC, MacDuffNYC.com, and you read about the review that we've written on Weight of the Water, I'll have a special link there that'll link back to your play. The name of your play?
The Night Larry Kramer Kissed Me. Yeah, it'll be Broadway Cares, probably.
Okay.
Yeah, BroadwayCares.org.
Okay, awesome. You're watching MacDuff NYC. This is Niki-Moet. This is David Drake.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. You're very welcome. We'll see you next week.